Arsenal could well win the league tonight.
They're going to win.
If Manchester City go up against Bournemouth, who are still chasing potential Champions League football, that's another conversation. Andoni Areola leaving the football club and potentially missing out on top-level European football. But they come up against a Manchester City tonight, who we understand the players found out last night from a furious Pep Guardiola, who is said to be absolutely beside himself that this has been leaked from the football club, that the announcement hasn't been on his terms.
Do you think he was really upset?
I think Pep Guardiola controls every element of footballing operations at that football club, and rightly so, by the way.
So then would you not feel like, again, I didn't have service at the stadium, so I didn't know this news until I got home. But the way it dropped, the news dropped right after Arsenal went up 1-0. You don't think that was intentional at all?
No, I don't. I mean, there were murmurings of it before the game as well, Master. Like,
dropping a report saying Pep is very furious. You don't think that's... I don't know. I question the entirety of that sequence of events.
Well, my question to you is, do you think how do you think that plays psychologically on a group of players that are already chasing the title, and now they've got this sort of added arc in the narrative that one of the most successful managers in footballing history, domestic footballing history, is leaving in 2 games' time? How does that play out psychologically with these players?
I mean, I'd have to think they've known for a bit now.
But I think if reports are to be believed, of course they will have suspected.
We've seen the rumors, we've seen the reports. I mean, even here's my thinking. There's this one Twitter account, Hand of Arsenal. I don't know who is behind this account. For all I know, it's probably like a Kroenke family member, because somehow they always get all the
bang
news.
On every single time.
They get every single news. They're always pro-propaganda Arsenal. I swear he's probably like a Kroenke grandkid for all I know. They were tweeting this out a couple weeks ago about the possibility. And
the rumors have been around for a long time.
I know. I'm saying, though, again, for this account in particular, for as accurate as it has been for Arsenal information, there's clearly someone in the inside. And they tweeted out a couple weeks ago about the Pep Guardiola news that he was going to step down, and that's kind of why everyone's kind of being hush-hush about it. We've seen the rumors of Enzo Maresca. This has been going on for a month now that we've seen the reports. So going back to your question, I would have to assume that people internally and the players have known this.
So they're prepared for this.
I think they have been prepared for this. Because that's why when you see the FA Cup final, you see the trophy, you see, who was it? Mark Gahey, was it, that received the trophy, and then Pep immediately took it out of his hand so he can give all the trophies and take all the pictures he wanted to with the coaching staff. I think this has been in place for much longer than
we have publicly seen. But now that it's well understood widely in the public domain that he is going, where does Pep? What's your immediate reaction? Where does he sit in the pantheon of greats? How do you feel about his departure from the Premier League?
I mean, what Pep has done has been instrumental for this entire era. You cannot speak about the Premier League during this golden era, if you want to describe it, without mentioning Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. All the trophies they've won, the style of play, the inverted fullback that has completely changed just not only English football, but world football as we know it. He has completely revolutionized everything from the top down, from the infrastructure, from ownership, all the way down, and has, in my opinion, done it for the better. However, there's still 115 charges that we have to address. And I don't know how you feel about that, but the timing also of him stepping down now with 1 year left on his contract, when he's typically been someone that has seen through every single contract that he's had, to step down now makes me feel like something is on the horizon with these 115 charges.
Yeah, look, Master, I'll say this. You cannot take away the tactical prowess and brilliance of Pep Guardiola. You cannot take away the 20 trophies that he's won in 10 years. It's undeniable brilliance. However, I know that I speak for hundreds of thousands of football fans that aren't Manchester City fans in saying that until there has been a final judgment on this historic footballing case involving the 115 charges, there is a dark cloud hanging over the legacy of Pep Guardiola, and that's sad for him. That's sad for him because he doesn't deserve that, because we know that he's an absolutely wonderful manager. But there are, as I say, so many fans that look at this perceived injustice. And of course, Manchester City deny all wrongdoing. I'm not making a comment on the outcome of that case. I don't have any information on that at all. But what I'm telling you is, because this case has been going on for so long, because it has lacked transparency, because journalists aren't allowed to report on this and it's all cloak and daggers, there is a feeling that something isn't right. And until Manchester City are cleared, there is I think it tarnishes Pep's legacy, and there is this metaphoric asterisk on his record until they are cleared. Because if they aren't cleared and they're found to essentially have overinflated sponsorship payments to allow the club to buy the best players to establish themselves as a European powerhouse, as a Premier League powerhouse, then I'm sorry, people aren't going to be comparing Pep Guardiola to Sir Alex Ferguson, because there is this asterisk. And so for the sake of Pep Guardiola's legacy, the result of the 115 hearing needs to come out as soon as possible. And I know for a fact that there are hundreds of thousands of fans. You see it online, you have it in conversations in the pub. There are still questions about what this means for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. I know you're an Arsenal fan. I know that they've been your fiercest rivals for the last 4 years, toe-to-toe in the title race. But it goes without saying that surely you appreciate what he's done for Manchester City and arguably for the Premier League in making it the powerhouse that it is arguably in Europe as well.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job. Manchester City's done an amazing job building out the infrastructure of the organization from the top down, renovating their entire philosophy and changing the game of world football as we know. It'll be interesting to see, though, what Pep does after this. And I'm sure he'll take some time off. But someone of his caliber and stature, I would assume, will get the itch again.
Yeah.
And here's my thought, okay? Pep, if you're watching this.
Which he definitely is.
Of course he is. Everyone's watching this. You spend a lot of time in America. You love America. You've had some great moments, great memories in America. A lot of people in America love you as well. However this tenure goes, we will need a new coach for the U.S. men's national team. And it is an organization that has a lot of talent. One player in which you may know, Cavan Sullivan, who's coming to Manchester City here soon on Philadelphia Union. Pep Guardiola, you should be the next manager of the U.S. men's national team. Come take us to the next level. I'm not dismissing everything you've done at Barcelona. I'm not dismissing everything you've done in Manchester City. I'm not dismissing everything you've done in European football. All the trophies, all the accolades, everything solidified you as one of the greatest ever. But if you want to separate yourself and make yourself the greatest ever, imagine taking the U.S. men's national team to the next level. The talent is there. The infrastructure is being built out. A brand new facility in Atlanta. You understand the people. You understand the thirst and the desire to push the U.S. men's national team to the next level. We're going to give you the keys. Take it home.
Can I ask, what does that look like realistically? Let's say in an 8-year tenure, 2 World Cups, that cycle. What does that realistically look like to take, as you say, the US to the next level?
I think the biggest thing that we would need someone like Pep to do is to create an infrastructure from the grassroots level that gets rid of this pay-for-play model that has existed in the United States since God knows how long, back in when even I was playing, that makes it inaccessible for the game to be played in all parts of America. There's so many talented players.
Well, the talent pool is astonishing.
It's unbelievable. And just to think about how many players just never had the financial capabilities to play the sport that could have had a huge impact for the national team. It really filters you out just off finances alone, let alone talent.
Do you think the franchise system at top-level American football, do you think that limits the development of younger players? Because there isn't a pyramid system that players can move through, essentially.
The academy stuff, yeah. But then on the flip side, we've seen how much the college system as well has changed a lot of nations, whether it's in South America. We've seen how much it's changed the women's game, the accessibility that a college scholarship has provided for other nations to develop players as a result of getting an education in a 4-year system. I think a lot of that is changing. MLS obviously is going to switch over after the World Cup to a similar schedule pattern to start in the fall as what we see here in Europe. So a lot of these changes are happening, and it's taken a long time to get to this place. But I feel like coming out of this World Cup, regardless of the results that this current generation has, which is trying to salvage the unfortunate mishaps of missing out on the 2018 World Cup, the next generation of talent in the United States, it's very promising. And Pep, please take this gig.
Well, look,
America,
It's going to
baby.
be absolutely fascinating, and it isn't a stretch to say Pep Guardiola could do any job that he so wishes after what he's achieved.
I'd rather
in
him
his
do
career
that
in
than
Europe.
like NYCFC, which is also a possibility because of the
There's
infrastructure.
a possibility. I think,
and they're getting a new stadium, so they're getting a big infrastructure. So maybe he does stay within the city family group, but go for something bigger. Let's bring it home. Red, white, and blue, baby.